At the start of the episode, we see Rhi reminiscing over her childhood sketchbook filled with adorable moments with Seoyoung. One particular drawing shows a time when Rhi had a tooth pulled by her mom, and while Rhi felt no pain, Sang-yu started crying just from watching her. Another memory was when some kids teased her for riding her bike slowly, but Rhi sped off once the support wheels were removed. There was also a moment when Rhi ran away from home and wrote SOS on the beach. And for the first time, she even proposed to a senior at school, but he rejected her, which made Sang-yu secretly happy. Through all these moments, he was always by her side. Suddenly, Rhi's mom calls her, asking her to deliver a dish to Seoyoung. Rhi notices that her mom used the soy sauce that she brought back from Tan's place, and when she tastes the dish, it's delicious. Meanwhile, we see Seoyoung's dad having breakfast when his mom enters. Dad invites her to join, but she declines, saying she'll just have toast. Just then, the doorbell rings, and when Mom opens it, Rhi is there with a food delivery. Dad thanks her, as Rhi's mom often sends food over. Rhi then heads upstairs to meet Seoyoung, who is in the shower and unaware of her presence. As Rhi waits, she remembers the time capsule letter she wrote but never read, so she starts searching for it in Seoyoung's room. She finds the letter and starts reading it just as Seoyoung steps out. He tries to grab the letter from her, causing it to rip, and he throws it into the trash. Rhi demands to read his letter since he read hers, but Seoyoung brushes it off, claiming it was all just a joke. Confused and hurt, Rhi leaves but can't shake off the thought. Why would Seoyoung joke about something so serious after 10 years? Was he hiding real feelings? While wandering, Rhi stumbles upon her shop, now empty. She unlocks the door, reminiscing about the times she used to cook with her dad. Just then, her dad shows up, surprised to see her. They talk about old times, and Rhi asks her dad, "What if I became a chef like you?" Her dad refuses, saying he didn't educate her so she could end up cooking. He then starts preparing her favorite dish. The scene shifts to Kang, who's in an elevator when his manager asks about Yeondu. He replies that she's doing better and requests to change departments so he can spend more time with his daughter. His colleague mentions that she manages with 3 kids because her husband freelances. She advises Kang to reconsider, reminding him that children grow up fast. Later, Rhi uploads her old YouTube videos from when she was in the US. Afterward, she goes to meet Seoyoung at his office, where he's with Tan. However, Seoyoung behaves rudely toward Rhi, which irritates her. She thanks him for the sauce, but Tan invites her for tea. Seoyoung interrupts, saying they have important work to discuss, leaving Rhi frustrated. Inside, Tan questions why Seoyoung agreed to work with her, and he explains it was simply a good opportunity. Tan then teases Seoyoung, saying he was unusually quiet when Rhi showed up. Is Seoyoung using Tan to avoid his feelings? Seoyoung denies it, but Tan senses something deeper. She mentions that Seoyoung might have told Rhi something important, making him desperate to find out what Tan knows. Meanwhile, Rhi meets with Mayim, who is training for a boat license. When Rhi asks why, Mayim reveals that she wants to go to the South Pole for research, and the license would be an advantage, although the process is long. Mayim is shocked to learn that Rhi registered for cooking classes, and now wants to pursue this as her career. Despite thinking Rhi was focused solely on academics, Mayim is proud and believes cooking is Rhi's true calling. To celebrate, Mayim suggests dinner, and even invites Seoyoung, despite Rhi's hesitation. Seoyoung declines, claiming he has work, but Mayim confidently says he always refuses initially, but shows up at the last minute. What will happen next? Will Seoyoung's hidden feelings finally come to light? Or will he continue to hide behind his aloof exterior? Mayim remarks that this time Seoyoung won't come, making her realize that something might have happened between them. Later that night, as Seoyoung leaves the workshop, he runs into Kang, who invites him for a drink. Seoyoung is surprised when they arrive at Kang's house, as it turns out they're neighbors with Mayim. Just then, Yeo comes out and hugs her dad, and Kang introduces Seoyoung to her. Inside, they sit for a refreshing drink. Kang tells Seoyoung that it has been a long time since he had a drink and feels the effects quickly, but being there makes him feel good. Seoyoung feels relieved seeing how quickly Kang is adjusting. Kang then asks Seoyoung why he wanted to drink. Seoyoung explains, "It's actually about a friend. There was a girl he really liked, but he never told her. He thought he had moved on and forgotten her. But now, after meeting her again, he's confused, so he's avoiding her." Kang asks if the girl knows how he feels. Seoyoung admits, "That's the fear. What if she finds out?" Kang inquires why his friend is so scared, to which Seoyoung replies, he doesn't want to mess things up. Meanwhile, Mayam, being their neighbor, overhears this while eating candy and realizes why Seoyoung didn't show up that night. The scene flashes back to when they buried the time capsule. Afterward, Mayam couldn't wait 10 years and secretly opened the capsule, smiling as she read Seoyoung's letter. "Seoyoung hasn't changed," she murmurs with a grin. Kang then asks, "Does your friend want things to continue the way they are?" Seoyoung responds affirmatively. Kang reflects, "If he were my friend, I'd introduce him to the best swimmer I knew, one who never gave up and always worked hard." His words indirectly point back to Seoyoung himself. The next morning, Ri's mom wakes up her dad, reminding him they need to work. She's anxious about their finances, saying they've lost so much money that she can't even sleep. Dad dismisses her worries and recalls attending a funeral the previous night, which angers Mom. She criticizes him for wasting money at funerals and mentions that he has a class reunion later. Checking her phone, Mom notices their funds are low, suspecting a scam. Meanwhile, Ri runs into Seoyoung on her way to her cooking class. Before he gets the wrong idea, she quickly explains her plans and asks him to keep it a secret from her parents. She excitedly tells him it's her first day, and after the classes, she'll receive a Korean craftsman certificate. But mid-conversation, Seoyoung cuts her off, saying he has a meeting and leaves. Inside, he starts researching the Korean craftsman certification on his computer, only to quickly close the window when Myung enters unexpectedly. Myung asks what Seoyoung was doing and why he was looking up cooking certifications, but Seoyoung quickly changes the topic and rushes him to the meeting. On the other side, Ri's first cooking class begins, where the teacher teaches them how to shop for ingredients. In the evening, Seoyoung meets some former co-workers who offer him a drink, but he declines, ordering soda instead, since he still has work to do. As Seoyoung leaves, he spots Yeo's dad with a drunk woman who's playfully calling him cute. Seoyoung ignores them and walks home, but this sight stirs a painful childhood memory. He recalls his mom leaving with another man while he begged her to stay. What really happened in his past? The mystery deepens. Back at Ri's parents' house, they return home at night only to be startled by Seoyoung's unexpected appearance. Seoyoung asks Ri's dad about the woman he was with earlier. Dad opens up and explains the situation, leaving Seoyoung concerned. He asks, "Have you made your decision?" When Dad confirms, Seoyoung urges him to keep it a secret from the family. However, Seoyoung warns, if Ri finds out, she won't stay silent. The next day, we see Mayam's mom at her office putting up a poster of a handsome, popular man. Yeo's mom teases her, asking if she fought with her husband again. Mayam's mom complains, he can't even wash the dishes because he's always home, and envies Seoyoung's mom, whose husband is independent and works, leaving no room for fights. Yeo's mom then comments, "My husband comes home so late at night," leaving their friends with a lot to ponder. What will Seoyoung do next? Will Ri discover the secrets her dad is hiding? And what about Seoyoung's unresolved feelings? It's clear something big is about to unfold. Mayam senses that something more is going on. She starts to feel uneasy, especially since her shop hasn't opened for days, a fact she wasn't even aware of. Rushing home, she finds a short-term loan slip, leaving her even more anxious. Meanwhile, Mohim buys food from a store and looks for a place to sit, but all seats are taken. Kang invites her to sit with him, and they start chatting. Mohim asks if Yo is alone at home, but Kang reassures her that Yo is away on a night camping trip with her kindergarten. As they continue talking, Kang comments on how late Mohim is having dinner. She explains that she had to handle an emergency where a hospital refused to admit a patient, but she managed to get them admitted. Impressed, Kang praises her. Mohim, touched by his words, requests him to give her another chance and asks about his family. Kang opens up, revealing that Yo's mom is no longer in this world. Mohim is moved and tells him he's a wonderful dad. Kang emotionally admits that he would give up everything for his daughter, but Mohim urges him not to. She shares that her own dad passed away when she was young, and her mom had to sacrifice everything to raise her. She knows too well the pain of losing everything. Mohim asks to play with Yo and requests Kang to tell her what Yo likes. He starts listing things like aliens and zombies, but midway, he falls asleep at the table. Shocked, Mohim realizes Kang has a low alcohol tolerance. He passed out after just one beer. Not wanting to leave him like that, she drags him home and leaves him sleeping outside his house. Meanwhile, Ri's parents are arguing again. When Dad returns home late, Mom angrily throws things at him, showing him the loan bill. She accuses him of letting his money habits ruin them, listing the household expenses she can no longer manage. Ri overhears the chaos as she enters the house, and Dong-jin, another family member, also comes out to see what's happening. Mom demands to know if Dad took another loan for his friend, or if he's gambling, or worse, having an affair. Finally, Dad admits that it's all due to an accident. The scene flashes back to the day when food bloggers visited their restaurant. They complained about finding hair in their food, and as Dad tried to check, he accidentally spilled food on them. One of the girls, wearing an extremely expensive watch worth 30 million yuan, was furious as the food ruined it. She smugly tells Dad that getting such a watch isn't easy. Though he offers to cover the repair costs, they demand full compensation. This incident left Dad sleepless. He started working as a designated driver at night to save money. On the night Seoyoung spotted him with the lady, Dad was working as her driver, using this job to gather enough money to repay the bloggers. He had managed to give them 20 million won, but this led to the loan bill Mom found. After learning the full story, Mom is furious and asks how Dad could even think of solving this problem alone. Dad, now emotional, retorts that she never believed in him. He admits that if he had told her, she would have lost respect for him. He chokes up, saying that he did everything for their family and vows to return the remaining money. As he walks away, Ri follows, but he slips and falls. Ri quickly bandages his hands and lovingly tells him that just as he used to take care of her, now it's her turn to take care of him. She proudly reminds him that she's grown up now. Dad, overwhelmed with guilt, apologizes, but Ri says they should take legal action against the bloggers. However, Dad refuses, fearing they might countersue and shut down their restaurant due to the hair incident. Dad, still regretful, laments how he never even bought Ri a dress while she was in the US, nor could he send her any money. He confesses he doesn't deserve to be her dad. Ri, with tears in her eyes, reassures him, saying that if that's the case, she doesn't deserve to be his daughter either because she's currently unemployed. Dad softens and says, "You'll always be my daughter." Ri responds, "And you'll always be my daddy." The next day, Ri is still thinking about how to handle the bloggers when she suddenly gets an idea: security cameras. However, their restaurant doesn't have any, so she heads to a nearby shop and requests to check their CCTV footage. The owner informs her that Sang-yu already checked the footage earlier. Confused, Ri calls Sang-yu, but he ignores her call. We then see Sang-yu with the same food bloggers. He lies to them, pretending to be the restaurant owner's son, and offers them the remaining money. Just as the bloggers are about to accept it, Seoyoung stops them and demands to see the broken watch. The bloggers reluctantly show Seoyoung the watch, and he immediately recognizes it. The design is one of the top in the world, but something seems off. He looks at his own wrist, where he wears a similar watch, gifted to him at an event. Seoyoung begins to notice subtle differences in the serial numbers, color, and design. Could the bloggers be running a scam? The girl quickly identifies the watch as a cheap replica. Just as the scammers try to snatch it away, Sung pulls up a video showing the guy pulling a hair from his head and placing it in a packet before entering the restaurant. Cornered, the scammers threaten to sue, but Sung calmly reveals the CCTV footage showing that the watch had already stopped working at 11:45, proving it was broken before they entered the restaurant at noon. This evidence was more than enough to expose them. Just then, Kang arrives and introduces himself as a reporter. We then flash back to the previous day when So Si-yeon had shown Kang the CCTV footage and searched for the scammers' social media accounts, revealing their lies. Sung realizes the girl doesn't even have a burn scar, confirming they were frauds. Sung then reveals that the cafe they were sitting in belongs to a friend of his, and everything was being recorded by the CCTV cameras. Terrified, the scammers flee. Sung and Kang chase them, with Sung still nursing an injury but pushing himself to catch up. Kang, on the other hand, runs at a slower pace, drawing mockery from one of the guys until he smacks into a pole and passes out. Meanwhile, Sung's target manages to cross the street just as the light turns red, and Sung is forced to stop. Thinking he's safe, the scammer celebrates, but Ryu suddenly appears and tackles him. The scammer retaliates, pushing her down, but Sung arrives just in time to knock him out with a powerful kick. Seeing blood trickling from Ryu's nose, Sung angrily prepares to attack the scammer further, but Ryu stops him, saying her nosebleed was due to overwork, not the fight. Despite her assurances, Sung is visibly concerned and tends to her wound. Meanwhile, another scammer tries to escape, but Dong-jin arrives and gives him a well-deserved beating. When their father hears the news that the scammers have been caught, he rushes to the police station, but not before facing his wife's wrath. She's still furious after their argument the previous night, where he admitted to feeling useless and unable to contribute to the family beyond cooking their signature dish. Overcome with emotion, he tearfully apologizes, admitting that his family means everything to him. With things resolved, the mom insists on heading to the police station to confront the scammers herself, even grabbing a stick for good measure. But the dad stops her, warning that she could end up in jail. They head to the station together, leaving behind a heartfelt, "I love you." Later, Ryu thanks Sung for helping her father, confessing that she feels inadequate compared to him because he seems to know everything. Sung, while acknowledging her gratitude, emphasizes that things can't go back to the way they were. They've grown up, and it's time to focus on their own lives. He coldly tells her to stop knocking on his window like they did in childhood, leaving Ryu heartbroken. That night, as Ryu lies awake, she reflects on how happy Sung had been when he wrote that letter, only to tear it up in front of her the next day. She approaches his window, ready to knock again, but stops, remembering his harsh words. Meanwhile, Sung gazes out his window, wishing he could crumple his feelings as easily as that letter. Unbeknownst to Ryu, he had retrieved the torn letter from the trash. The next day, Ryu attends her cooking class, where her teacher advises that the key to tasty food is thinking about the person you're cooking for. Inspired, she visits Sung at his shop, surprising him with a home-cooked meal. He hesitates, but she explains that it's from her first cooking class and offers it as a thank you for helping her father. In a flashback, we see their childhood, where Ryu's mother tried feeding a young Sung some Korean food. He refused, but Ryu cheerfully brought out a colorful dish, persuading him to eat. Back in the present, Sung is taken aback that Ryu still remembers such small details from their past. Ryu, determined, declares that she knows him better than anyone, even his parents. But Sung coldly dismisses their shared memories, telling her to forget the past and stop bothering him with them. Hurt, Ryu insists that she'll continue to be part of his life, regardless of his protests. Sung, growing increasingly frustrated, storms off, leaving her to wonder if she really knows everything about him, except for his first love. As the episode concludes, Ryu, fueled by curiosity, chases after Sung. She confronts him, demanding to know what he meant by his earlier words. And with that, the episode leaves us hanging, eager to discover the answer in the next installment. So guys, that was today's episode recap. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you next time for the next episode of this thrilling drama. Until then, goodbye.